Hi, Depression here. In today's video I wanted to show you what I consider to be the best pathings to loot every structure in the game. As you may know by now, the game offers you a bunch of different places where you can get your loot from, the most recognizable ones being the forts, great churches, main camps, the ruins, and the castle. And why do I say that these are the most recognizable ones? Simply because they are shown to you in your map since the start of the expedition. You are going to usually plan your pathing using them as a reference, and this is why it's so important to know how to loot them efficiently. You know, just in case you're doing it wrong. In my opinion, this game is about speed. Having quick decision making is going to make your pathings feel more consistent, and eventually, you'll find yourself doing this automatically without having to stop to look at the map for a while and losing precious time trying to decide where to go next or where to start. And to achieve that, you will need knowledge. So let's begin with the forts. Forts are pretty easy to loot. Basically, you never find any crazy enemy in it, so whenever you're on low level, it's a pretty good call to go and see what can you get in there. This one, as you can see on the map, doesn't have any magic icon, which is the only variant that you're going to find there. Now, let's get close. From this distance, I can tell that this is going to be an abductor version, because you can see the vitality bars of the enemies going down, which means there is a fight inside. The enemy is going to be immediately on the entrance, and let's ignore it. Now, the important loot that you can get here, it's on the chest. These chests could have what is called a stone sword key that you can use to open an evergal. In this case, I didn't get anything. If we go upstairs, in this tower, you can find the stuffs and the map. This loot is going to be here every time, so be sure to catch it. And this chest is something that is going to be in here always. And look, we get a stone sword key. Okay, so this second fort has a spirit stream nearby. We can use it to jump inside to avoid going from the entrance. And as I showed you before, you can find here a map and the stuffs, as always. The boss in this specific fort is the Lord Sworn Captain. We found another key in here. In case that you don't have any spirit stream close to make the jump, you can always use the front entrance, and it's going to be the same pathing as the previous one. Let's just check these chests again. As I mentioned, this is going to be always in here. And basically, this is the first variant of the fort. Now, I'm going to show you the second one. You can identify this one very easily on the map because it has the magic icon. This means that this one is going to be protected by a Crystallian and a Sorcerer. Those two are the boss of the fort. And another thing, the way in is a little bit different than the other one. I'm going to show you right now. Since you know this one is a magic fort, you're going to look for a way in, not from the front door, because it's going to be closed, as you can see, but from here. This is going to be your entrance, always, in this kind of fort. You can also find a merchant in here every time. Don't forget to see if they are selling something valuable to you. Now, the pathing, it's pretty straightforward. Just go up, basically. Identify the stairs. Start going up. I always recommend to ignore the enemies because there is no value on taking them down. Now, these guys are not the boss. You can find these chests in here. See if you can get a stone sword key. If you don't, it's okay. This is the boss, the Crystallian and that sorcerer. You have to kill them both. Get the staffs, get the map, and sometimes a chest in here. Oh, this is cool actually. And that's basically it for this one. This is going to be always like this. There is no variant to this. Okay, so let's talk about this one. This one has a guardian golem. There is no way to know that there is going to be a guardian golem in there until you are close. Because this one looks like the abductor virgin or the Lord Sworn Captain on the map. It doesn't have any indicator like the one with the Crystallian and the sorcerer, which you can see the magic icon in here. Well, in this case, when you see that there is a golem, it's going to be the same pathing as with the Crystallian. Just be careful with the arrow. Of course, that's going to happen. And as I mentioned with the Crystallian, you can find a merchant in here. And the way to go in, it's going to always be down here. Just going to show you, so just so you can see the mobs, which in this case are New York rats. A few soldiers. And the final boss. As always, just check the loot. Just in case, you can get a stone sword key. You have a chest in here also. No stone sword. And as always, you will find a map, staffs, and sometimes a chest in here, as I mentioned before. And that's basically it for the forts. Remember that if you have a jump nearby, you can use it to avoid going from down. Now, I'm going to talk to you about the great churches. You can find them on the map. This is the icon. As you can see, this one doesn't have any elemental icon in here. And up there we have one that has the holy icon. I'm going to explain the difference to you in a bit. First of all, the things to consider here. This is also something that you want to hit when you are low level. You can do this on level 1 if you want. If there is no element in here, it means that it's going to be either a golem or a mausoleum knight. There are 4 possibilities of bosses that you can find here, which are those: fire monk, guardian golem, mausoleum knight, or oracle envoys. Again, in this case, we know that this is either a golem or a mausoleum knight. As you can see here, that is a golem. The things that you can loot in here are interesting. You have to take this into account. First of all, you can find here the seals and stone sword keys. In the case of the one that is being guarded by the golem, you can find a chest in here, always. This is going to be in here all the time. And you can get the stone sword keys. As I mentioned before, the stone sword key is important for the every goals, which is this little circle in here. You can open it to get a boss fight. Now, the second thing to consider here that is important It's the hidden treasures that are on the upside of the churches. In this case, you have a way up in here. As I always recommend, just ignore the little enemies. And here they are. Seals. Again, in the case of the golem, it's always going to be like this. You find the chest in here, the seals up there, and the boss. And just in case that you forgot, the way up is this little column that you can find in here. That is going to be your way up every time. Now let me show you the other variants. So the second one that I wanted to show you is this one. As you can see, there is the holy icon. That means that your enemy here is going to be the Oracle Envoys. As you can see them from here, those are not the boss. There are going to be wolves on the outside. That is the boss. Now, important differences between this one and the golem one. There is no chest in here, as you can see. But, similar to the golem, if you go up from here, this is going to be the exact same pathing. Right in there, being protected by those three, that is the chest. And you can find a stone sword key. And this is going to be our third example. This one, as you can see in here, it's going to show us the fire icon. This means that the enemy that we have to beat here, it's going to be the fire monk. Remember that the element is important to take into account, because sometimes the boss that you're going to face, it's going to be weak to one of those elements, and sometimes it's going to be resistant. So let's say you're fighting on the Gaping Jaw expedition. You have a fire great church in here. I would recommend avoiding it unless you appear immediately here. So these great churches are different to the golem and the oracle ones. You can find the small enemies on the upper side of the church, and the actual entrance, it's going to be over this rubble. You can find a hole in here that you have to drop inside. Let's go into the hole. To your right, you're going to find the seals and the boss. That way, it's one of the exits. Once you beat the boss and get your rewards, you can use either that way or this way. Which, I don't know, I always go out from here for some reason. Now, on the upper side, you can also go up from here. I'm just going to show you real quick. You can find a few loots. In this specific great church, I never use the upper side because I don't see any point of it. But I do take the chest. Because, yeah, you can get a stone sword key. So, the chest is going to be in here every time. And let's move on to the last one. This one is going to be our last church. As you can see, this one looks exactly like the golem one because there is no element. The main difference in here and the way to identify them is that this one has the soldiers, as you can see. So that means this is going to be a mausoleum knight. Now, this is more like the fire monk church, because you can find the chest in here. You know, as always, stone sword key. I mean, not as always, but you can get it. And the hole that is on the rubble on the outside, the seals, and the boss. Your way out. And that will be it for the churches. Okay, so next thing on the list, we have the main camps. We can identify this on the map by this icon that you can see here. These are going to have their own differences. In this case, you can see that this one doesn't have any elemental icon. And over here, we have one that has the fire icon. So, these camps could have the next enemies on them. Bosses, I mean. The first one, Elder Lion, Leonine, Banished Knights, Redmane Knights, Flame Chariots, or Frenzied Flame Troll. Those are the possible bosses that you can find in there. And these are easy to hit, the same as the previous structures that I showed you. But I will recommend being a little bit more careful, because you can get one shot easily in here, or maybe get overwhelmed by the enemies, because there are a lot of enemies in these camps. So I will recommend hitting them being at least on level 2. Now, let's start with this one. As you can see on the map, we don't have an icon in here. So that means that this could be an Elder Lion, Leonine, or the Banished Knights. We have Leonine. We can identify them by the enemies that you can see, let's say, before hitting the camp. Now, I'm going to show you the main entrance to this type of camps. Okay, I took the long way. Okay, so the main entrance is going to look like this. It's going to be guarded by a few enemies. And you are going to find a merchant in here. Now, in this specific case, you can hit the upper side of the campment just to hit the final boss and take him down. That is going to be the faster way to do it. You can just run, ignore everything, and there is the boss. I always recommend to fight these things like one by one if you are on low level, because if they start hitting you in a group, you're basically dead. So keep that in mind. Okay, so the next one that I want to show you is the one that has these soul ears. The way to identify the boss is going to be when you go in. If there is a Banished Knight standing right there, that means that the boss on this camp is going to be the Banished Knight. If there is not, it means that it's going to be an Elder Lion, which you can see right there. This is another fight that you can go straight here, get the boss down, and move on. Not wasting a lot of time. Okay, now, right here we have a camp that has the fire icon in it. The fire icon means this could be Redmane Knights or Flame Chariots. In this case, from here we can see that this is going to be a Redmane Knights camp. Because the Flame Chariot, it's pretty recognizable. It's going to be all burned up. In this case, this looks like pretty, clean, let's say. This one is the first tricky one, let's say. I would recommend hitting this from the entrance because there is very specific dude that you want to take off, that you want to take care of to begin with. That one. You want to go immediately for him. Run past these guys, jump in here. Don't get stuck because it happens. And someone is waiting for you to hit you. Just like that. Okay, so that doesn't happen really often, let's say. But it does happen. So that's why we have to be careful. Again, the first thing that you want to do, let's go up here. He's usually up there, waiting to hit you. And yeah, take him down first. Something that you can do, he's usually going to be here, and the soldier is going to be here. Like, you go up, you can evade, and you can throw him down. And it's going to be like an easy cheese for this guy. After you take him down, you're going to move on up here and deal with the others, which are waiting for you right there. In these specific camps that have multiple enemies that you have to kill, I recommend always starting from the bottom to the top, because if you ended up killing the one on the bottom first, let's say, I'm sorry, last, the grace is going to appear up there anyway, so you will have to go up again. So yeah, always start from the bottom to the top. And moving to the next one, this camp is a very interesting one. This is a frenzy camp. As you can see, it's all messed up. All of the soldiers are going to have frenzy attacks. You can find loot in here, like boluses for frenzy. Sometimes get something nice. I recommend being careful in here because, you know, frenzy can one-shot you sometimes. This is pretty straightforward. You just go up and you have to take down that troll. It's going to usually give you something frenzy related. You know, it's not guaranteed, but you can get it. And finally, a camp with flame chariots. As you can see, there is the fire icon. There are going to be 3 of them that you have to take down. These are pretty easy. Again, I recommend starting from the bottom to the top, so you can get the grace after you finish the fight. You just have to jump on them, press the R1, and that's it. Be careful with these guys. You can take this down at level 1, but again, just be careful. Explosions can be pretty damaging for you. The second one is over there, and the third one is over there. You just repeat what I did there. And something that I was forgetting, remember that you can see the merchants on the map by pressing triangle. There is always going to be a merchant in here. I would say that you should take a look on this. You know, like, for example, improved damage negation at low HP is something cool that you can get if you don't have enough loot on you. And you can always open the chests. This loot is not very interesting, but you can get something nice sometimes. And finally, I found some banished knights. You can tell for the enemies that are guarding the entrance. Those mean that you're going to fight some Banished Knights in here. The first one, it's going to be right there. Now, these guys are pretty tough. So, having to fight them level 1, it's going to be a little bit harder than usual. You have to take that one down, and then these two, they are together. So this is even harder. So be careful with this one. And this was the last one that we were missing. Oh, by the way, there is a merchant in here. Don't forget, you can see that. And I actually forgot to mention one, the lightning one. This is going to be very similar to the camp that doesn't have any elemental icon. You are going to deal with a few soilers. And this is going to be a boss where you have to kill multiple enemies. The first one, you're going to find it here. These soldiers, they are, let's say, pretty recognizable. Royal Army Knights. You have to take that one, this one, and this one. So again, start from the bottom and go to the top. Don't forget to do that. The grace is going to appear around here. And be careful with the pumpkin head. Okay, so moving on to the next thing on the list, we have the ruins. These are going to be, I will say, the first difficult thing that you can do on your expedition. There are going to be a few variants for this one that we're going to talk about. Once you learn one or two of them, you basically learn everything you needed to know. So, to start with the icons, you're going to find ruins that don't have any icon on them. You are going to find ones that have the frost, the magic, the thunder, the poison, the bleed, and the death icon. You know, you can find always, I mean, not always, but you can go there and hopefully you get the element that you need for your expedition. Let's say you need a frost weapon, you can go to the frost ruin and see if you can get something there. It's not guaranteed. You have to keep that in mind. So sometimes the RNG is going to fuck you up. We'll begin with this one that has a holy icon. We can use the the icon as a reference to know what we are going to find there or what we can possibly find in there. In this case, the holy icon means that we get Alvinarix. And let's say that you have ruins that have no icon in them. That will be watchdogs. If there is a frost icon, it's going to be Alvinaric archers or ancient heroes of Samor. For the magic icon, it's going to be battle mages. For the thunder, it's going to be beastman of Farum Azula. For the poison, is going to be depraved perfumer or perfumer. And for bleed, it's going to be sanguine novel. For the sleep icon, you're going to have a rune bear. And for the death icon, you're going to have the worm face. Those are the possible bosses that you can find. Now, there are some cases where you have to defeat more than one enemy to beat the boss. In this case, for the Albinaric, we have to defeat 3 of them. I'm going to show you right now. This is going to be... I'm going to show you first how the structure works. You're going to find stairs that are going to lead you to an upper side, which usually you're going to find the boss of the ruin up there. When you have more than one boss in this type of structures, it means that they are going to be spread around the ruins. But it's going to be pretty easy to find them and identify them. So my recommendation is to learn them all. In this case, when you have the Albinaurics, you know that the first one is going to be here. You're going to totally ignore that side of this ruin to not waste time. You have to beat this one, then you're going to go up again and beat the last two of them that are here. Your grace is going to appear here after you beat them, and that will be it. This one is pretty easy to hit. You can hit this one at level 1, but I will say that it's going to be better for you if you level up first before going to any other ruin. Now, for this one, we have the Thunder icon, which means that we are going to get the Beastman of Farum Azula. Now, this one is tough. These guys are not something that you want to deal with. As you can see, this is similar to the one of the Albinaurics, but this one is different. So, now, let's talk about the fast route. As I mentioned before, it's better if you ignore all of the enemies. In this case, we are going to have both of the enemies that you have to defeat on the upper side, so we can take this jump over here. As you can see, that is going to be like the top of the ruin, so you can just go in here, jump, and you're going to find them over here. Look, both of them. You have to take them down. This is why it's good to learn them all, because you know that there are going to be multiple bosses in here, but you don't know that both of them are going to be on top. So if you go looking for one of them first, you're going to waste time. You're going to get the attention of the other enemies, and we definitely don't want that. And here we have one with the poison icon. This is either a perfumer or a depraved perfumer. This is basically the same as the Beastman that we just saw. So we are going to take the fast route again. Here you're going to have only one boss. But this one, you have to be careful with... there is a guy, there are 3 of them I think, with a ballista that can take you down with one hit. He's actually worse than the boss. As you can see, he's like guarding up over there. He can take you down one hit. And that guy chilling over there, that is the boss. Recommendation here, take him down first. Then take that guy down. And be careful with the big flowers. Those. They can hit you from afar, so yes, keep that in mind. For the frost icon, we have 2 possibilities. We have the Albinauric Archers or the Ancient Heroes of Samor. These one are going to be the Samor ones. We know it because of the jellyfish that you can see over there. In the case of the Archers, you are going to get the wolves. Now, these are another ruins with multiple enemies that you have to beat in order to defeat, let's say, the whole boss, the whole area. With this one, you're going to start from the bottom, because right here is going to be the first Samor. Up here is going to be the second one, and the third one, it's going to be on the top. So pretty straightforward. Start from the bottom and go to the top. The grace is going to appear around here, and these guys are not going to attack you or anything if you just let them be. Now, for the archers, is going to be one of the easiest one again, because you don't have to go from the bottom. You can just use the jump. As we can see from here, this is going to be the archers ones. 2 bosses in here. This is one of the fastest routes, the jump. And 2 of them are going to be here. They move a lot, so they are kind of a pain. I don't like to beat these guys, to be honest. But yeah. The variation that we got over here is the Sanguine Noble one. This is the Bleeding Ruin. We are not going to get an easy jump, so we are going to go from here. You can also hit them from the back. Let me show you real quick. Be careful with the guys that explode after seeing you, because they give you bleeding. So you can avoid the dogs coming from here. You have to stand right here and the boss is going to come out. They are all going to attack you, so yeah, be careful with that. It's only one boss, so it's going to be easy to beat. And this is the last one that I'm going to show you. This has the death icon. As you can see from here, we are going to identify where the boss is, because there is a dragon. A death dragon. As you can see from there, there is no easy jump to get there. So you either go from the back or from the bottom. I will recommend going from the back to avoid getting the attention of these guys, because, you know, Death Blight is a little bit annoying. This is the boss. He's always going to be with this little guy behind him. And yeah, you may have to fight a few of them, because most likely they are going to notice you. Be careful with this one. Let's say that you came from the back, you're going to go up from here, and the boss is going to be right there. That's basically it. I didn't show the rune bear or the magic with the battle mages. For the battle mages, it's going to be this same structure. The first battle mage is going to be here, and the second one is going to be up there. As you can notice, there are only very little variants. You just have to learn like 2 or 3 of them and you're set. You can use that information. And we are finally at the end of this walkthrough. We are going to talk about the castle. The castle is going to be a very big, how do we call it? It's a good place to loot. I will recommend, first of all, that you are above level 5. And it's going to depend a lot if you want to farm it or not. Sometimes it's going to be good to leave it as it is, except for the first boss that you're going to fight there. We have 3 different variants for it. The first one, it's going to be the one with Banished Knights. The second one, the Crossable. And the third one, the Trolls, which is a bit of a pain. Now, there are a few possible bosses that you can get on the lower side of the castle. You can get Ancient Hero of Samur, Black Knight Assassin, Leonine Misbegotten, the Red Wolf, the Royal Revenant, and community's favorite, the Bell-Bearing Hunter. Now, in my own personal experience, all of these bosses are easy to beat, except for the Bell-Bearing Hunter. The problem with that guy is that he's pretty tanky, so you're going to waste a lot of time on it. Now, I would recommend always doing that boss. I mean the lower side of the castle boss, because you can get a guaranteed talisman after. The, let's say, most common route to hit the castle is going to be going down here. It is going to be the same every time. We're going to start from the bottom because we want that talisman. In this case, you go from here and you're going to see the boss that you have to fight. Unless you get a bell-bearing hunter, I will say take the fight. After you beat the boss on the area, you're going to get a grazing here. We're going to go up from here. Now, if you get the Crucible Knights, there is going to be one of them waiting for you in here. I always ignore him, because there is no value on taking him down. Open this gate, open this chest, and you're going to get one talisman. That is going to be guaranteed. You can loot this chest also, just if you need something. Now, to continue this route, let's say that you want to farm the castle. Depending on what you get, you're going to have different variations of enemies. This one that we have right here is the one with the Banished Knights. That lion over here is going to give you one loot. So I recommend taking the lion down. You have, of course, to beat the other two enemies in here. The two enemies on the entrance, they are not worth the time. Now, we're going to go from this way. Go up. And go up again. You find another Banished Knight in here. If we follow this route over here, let's say that you want to farm the whole castle. Beat that one first. Go up here. Beat that one. And you have a few more over here. That one over there is going to give you loot. So I would recommend getting him. Go back from here. Now, let's say that you already beat all of them. You want to go to the boss. Follow this way. You have a few knights over here too. Another one waiting for you. This is the boss on the top. You don't have to beat that boss all the time. You can do it. So let's repeat. Let's say that you don't want to farm the boss yet. You can farm all of these guys. There is a last one over there. Now, that was, let's say, like the route to get the whole castle, you know? You want to farm everything that you can find in there. That's what you have to follow. But if you don't, if you just need, let's say, the boss on the top, you can come here first. You're going to identify this entrance because of these guys. They are always there. You have these guards. You go up from here and you take this jump. Just follow this path. And here we are with the boss at the top. As I mentioned, you can follow this route in the case that you don't want to do the boss at the bottom. Let's say that you got a bell-bearing hunter. It's not worth to waste the time. Maybe it is, depending on your the other players or your level, depending what do you want to get. Sometimes it's better to just farm everything else. If you have gals, for example, I don't know, man, that depends on you. So those are basically the variations. If you have the trolls, every troll is going to give you a guaranteed loot. It's going to be a pain to farm them, but it's going to be worth it at the same time. So I will say that if you have the trolls, you should consider taking them down. That's everything that I wanted to show you. I hope this can be useful for you, and I hope that your matches go a lot better after you watch this guide. Don't forget to subscribe, and whatever you do, don't you dare to go hollow.